Crimson Trace now offers a line of tactical-oriented products, including open and closed reflex sights, battle sights, and a robust line of rifle scopes, purpose-built with maximum features and versatility. Find out more at crimsontrace.com.
Welcome to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, where a right is always a right, not a privilege.
So glad you could be with us. I'm Tom Gresham. The show is Gun Talk. We're going to be talking about guns for an hour or more. Well, we talk about guns all the time, actually. I just got two new guns, both Ruger number ones, single-shot rifles. I mentioned that I had picked up a really nice one in .257 Weatherby, and then this week I got one that is the only one of its kind. It's the only one in the world. A Ruger number one chambered in the 6.5 PRC cartridge. That's kind of a 6.5 Creedmoor Magnum, if you will. It gets 200 to 300 feet per second more than the 6.5 Creedmoor. Originally, the idea was to use that in hunting, and for competition, for PRS competition. But the more you look at it, the more you think, that's a pretty darn nice hunting cartridge. Shooting 140 grain, or that class, grain bullets, you have a high sectional density, a high ballistic coefficient, and you can push them out at pretty close to 3,000 feet per second. You're carrying the mail at 400, 500, 600 yards down range. And out to 400 yards, you basically don't have a whole lot to worry about as far as drop or wind drift. Frankly, it's going to, in my first initial look at it, I think the cartridge outperforms the venerable .270 Winchester with a little bit less recoil, certainly a good bit less recoil than a 7 mag or a 300 mag, and performing as well as those at those distances. Going to be really interesting. We'll give you more information as we get a chance to go out and shoot it. Just picked it up. Don't even have a scope on it yet. So, we'll see how that all develops. But it's pretty sweet. We're having fun out there. It is that time of year when I'm seriously thinking about hunting and getting the gear ready and everything else. And one of my good friends he is the consummate hunter. Chris Ellis from Timney Triggers joins us right now. Hello, Chris. How are you, sir?
Hey, Tom. Appreciate you letting me have me on. It's been an honor. Thank you.
So you been hunting yet this year? Like I should ask.
Yeah, I kind of hunt year-round, especially if you ask my wife. But this time of year, I'm extremely busy. As you know, I do a lot of western big game hunts, as well as I live here in West Virginia, so deer season is long and very profitable for us. But
right.
What I do is this time of year, I spend a lot of time actually practicing in the field, practicing how I like to play, So very little bench time this time of year. I make sure that my gun's sighted in, obviously, at whatever distance I want to, either 150, 200 yards for a western big game hunt. And then I spend a lot of time on it, shooting off backpacks, shooting prone in the field, maybe taking a knee against a tree, or just any way that I think I can practice what I might face or might come into this fall out west. You don't carry a whole lot of benches around with you in the elk woods, that's for sure.
Well, I was just thinking, once you have your rifle sighted in and you've got it shooting where you want it to, there's really no purpose in shooting another round off the bench, is there?
Doesn't do any good at all. I mean, unless you plan on hunting off a bench, which very few of us do. So, I spend a lot of time, and I consider myself, I'm a decent shot. I've been shooting for a long time, but the more you practice, the better you get. It's muscle memory, whether you're playing golf or playing baseball or whatever, football. It's gaining that muscle memory, and I want it to be every year at this time, a couple times a week at the farm. I'm leaning off a backpack, maybe a pair of shooting sticks, something I'm trying out, and I want to form that muscle memory that I feel like I am very capable, best of my ability, at whatever distance. For me, probably 300 or 400 yards is as far as I'm going to shoot, as I feel comfortable with. But I practice I want to be able to shoot from steps out at 18 yards to 318 yards. I don't want my brain just to go take the shot. And that's where you and I have talked in the past. That's where starting with a good platform, starting with a good trigger, you're taking out all the variables to where you can gain muscle memory. If the trigger breaks the same way,
you can you don't have to actually be firing shots to do this either. You can do a lot of this with dry fire and working on the idea of, okay, I'm going to go from a standing or walking position. I'm going to drop down, get my pack off, I'm going to go to prone. I'm going to get the crosshairs on something, I'm going to control my breathing, and I'm going to squeeze off the shot and get it go click. Even that, the rifle doesn't have to go off to practice this stuff, does it?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I mean, especially like, for example, I hunt primarily with a bolt action rifle in the fall. So a bolt action rifle, cycling the bolt quick, getting the rifle off your shoulder, getting your rifle out of the backpack scabbard, getting your rifle from just the low ready position, taking that offhand shot. I like to practice a lot of offhand shots, dry firing at say under 100 yards. Because one of my biggest fears is you're out there and you've hunted hard and you're playing the wind and you're hustling and you're in shape enough to be up on that mountain, and here the big boy steps out at 73 yards and nothing between you and it but air.
Yep.
Not a tree, not a branch, not a rock. Yep.
You're either going to shoot or you're not going to shoot, and you're going to do it from where you are. You're not going to drop down to a sitting or a kneeling. You're just going to shoot.
Yep. No, because elk and mule deer, inside that, there's a certain yardage. Inside that, just like a whitetail or anything else, you don't get away with a whole lot. So if that guy stands out there at 70 yards, you're probably not going to get away with setting up a pair of sticks, taking off your backpack, putting it on the ground, opening up your bipods and stretching them out and trying to get prone. So it's not ideal, but through practice of dry firing and then firing a few live round shots at metal 6-inch steel plates or whatever, you get comfortable, That's the name of the game. You want to be, especially if you're an Eastern guy like me and you're paying a lot of money to go out west on an elk hunt, you want to make sure that your boots are important and you can shoot, right? So the best way to do it without breaking the bank, you're exactly right, is do a bunch of dry fire exercises.
Well, and also, if you practice doing dry fire close range and long range, it also forces you to get into the discipline of paying attention to what magnification you have your scope set on.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Because a lot of us Eastern guys, we didn't have to pay attention to too much optics. We're shooting deer at, especially in West Virginia, you can't see that far. So I grew up shooting deer inside 75 yards and that kind of stuff. Well, when you get out west, again, say the elk steps out at 75 yards, and you've got your brand new scope that you've worked so hard to pay for, and you got that thing cranked up to 13 power. And you look at that scope and your wobble is just all over the place, and you're breathing. You're like, oh my gosh, I'll never, Yeah,
but if you had it on 3 or 4, then you could just pull the rifle up and make the shot.
Yeah, 3 or 4, steady your breath, be one with your wobble, and the crosses the vital. Your brain's going to say take the shot, and with a good trigger, the shot's going to be gone, and you're going to be standing beside plenty of meat for the freezer. I can tell you that.
You mentioned good trigger a number of times, and I've been a trigger hound for many, many years, and I put in, custom replacement triggers in a lot of guns. The way I've described it, Chris, I've got several guns that have really excellent triggers, and it gives me additional confidence. I mean, and this is going to sound really arrogant, but when you're practicing and you got a good trigger, my deal is, look, if I see him inside of 400 yards, he's mine. If I've got a chance and he's not moving, I know I can make the shot. And to me, that's what the good trigger does.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Isn't it a wonderful feeling to have that where you've got, there's nothing against you. You've got everything, all the variables. You got a good scope, it's tightened down. Good bases, it's tightened down. You got a good cartridge, a great manufactured bullet. And now the thing that causes the whole reaction is your finger on that trigger. And if that trigger's for you, the shot's going to be right there. If that trigger's dragging or gritty or you don't know when it's going to go off, it doesn't go off the same time twice, it's really hard to hit something the same place twice if the gun doesn't go off the same place twice.
And obviously, Timney makes triggers for an awful lot of different rifles. You got Remington 700s and a bunch of different ones. TimneyTriggers.com. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
A lot of people now, they got the bigger scopes, they're doing the long-range shooting, they're dialing up, they're range finding, doing all the rest of it. How do you sight in your rifle? Do you do all of that, or do you just sight in with the old-fashioned 3 inches high at 100 deal?
Well, it depends. I mean, again, I'm a little bit old school. Now, don't get me wrong. I've attended a few of these PRS matches, and these guys and girls are phenomenal. They're doing things I'm just like, oh, my goodness. Like, especially with the cartridges and the different windages. Oh, my gosh. But typically, I'm an old school guy. I will sight in my bolt-action rifle, depending on the cartridge, what I would think would be like the maximum point blank or the third or the second rule. There's a bunch of different things. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to be able to hit inside that 6-inch circle from 15 yards to whatever the furthest distance is. Say you're using a 25-06 or 270, 30-06, any of those deer cartridges that, what I'll do is I'll figure out ballistics calculator. I'll look and I'll see, when it really starts to fall off. Where's the drop at? So it'll give you a number in there. I don't want to fall outside that 6-inch circle. I don't want to have my scope so high or have it sighted in so far away that if he steps out of 15 yards, I'll miss him,
Right.
So I like that maximum point blank. So I sighted in where from 0 to, let's say, 350 yards, which is common for a lot of these different cartridges.
Yep.
My bullet will not fall outside or be above that 6-inch plate. And then I just know it's a call. So you're out there hunting, you take your rangefinder, you hit him, he's 287, put the crosshairs on him and pull the trigger. Basically,
if he's inside of 350, just put the crosshairs on him and pull the trigger. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's the way I was taught. That's the way I was.
And honestly, that's what I do. And it's, people say, oh, you can do all the dial-up. I don't know if I can do all that in the heat of the moment. I know that I can put a rangefinder on him, and if it says 275, hold on. If it's inside 350, I don't have to worry about it. I just hold on and press the trigger. And if it says he's at 400, here's the deal. Gresham's law. Always aim at hair, because every time you think I'm going to aim a little bit over his back, here's what happens. The bullet goes right over his back every time.
Yep. Now, I have to admit, Tom, and you do too, when you go to some of those PRS matches, and even some of the long-range shooting classes and stuff I've taken, to be able to calculate, take the windage, have adjustable turrets, or have ballistic compensating scopes and that kind of stuff, it's fun, it's neat.
Yeah.
But like you said, in the heat of the moment when that big bull comes out and he's bugling and he's got his satellite bulls and all the cows around him and stuff, I couldn't tell you my name half the time. But I do know through muscle memory that if I click it and he's 247 yards and I have a shot and I have a shot that I feel comfortable with, backpack, prone, shooting sticks, bipod on the front of my rifle, whatever, I feel confident when that trigger breaks, it's freezer time.
All right, Chris, before I got to run to a break here, so I'm going to dump you out. But before we do, tell me about the HIT, this newest trigger.
Yeah. So Timney's been around for almost 75 years now, listening to our customers, and that the growth of this precision long-range rifle, this PRS stuff. So we had a lot of our shooters and a lot of our customers asking us for a dedicated trigger for the M700, for the 700 platform, just for that adjustable from like half a pound up to 2 pounds. We locked the sear. It's exactly what the customers were asking for. So we've been making 700 triggers for a long time, and we make several of them. But this one is our dedicated long-range precision trigger, just for that sport.
Okay, it's called the HIT.
It's called the HIT, and what we liked about it is a lot of people say impact, a lot of people say HIT, but we kind of thought when we were watching a lot of these people that when they hear that steel ding and somebody says impact or says HIT, that's a fun feeling. So we wanted to take that and put it in our trigger. So when these guys and girls are laying out there shooting those metals far away and they hear ding, I can go, that was a HIT, and point to the trigger.
There you go.
Fun, right?
That's right. Chris, thank you so much. Chris Ellis from Timney Triggers. We appreciate it. Have a good hunting season, man.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you, Tom.
All right, take care. 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, a former congressman who says the NRA did not treat him well. Well, let's find out what's going on. We'll be right back.
For 25 years, Crimson Trace has led the industry in laser and light technology and customer service. Now, Crimson Trace is proud to offer electronic sights and rifle scopes for tactical, target, and hunting applications, with the same Crimson Trace offer of free batteries for life on all products. The new rifle scope line is also backed by an unconditional lifetime warranty from the brand that you have trusted for over 2 decades. Find out more at crimsontrace.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
This is Ryan Gresham with Gun Talk. Visit guntalk.com/win to enter our latest giveaway. This month, enter to win with Surefire. One person will win Surefire's X300U handgun light, featuring a stunning 1,000 lumens. And two folks will win Surefire Stiletto rechargeable pocket flashlight. Enter now through August 30th at guntalk.com/win. That's guntalk.com/win.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
You know, for moms, the clock watching starts about 3 o'clock. That's the time when the kids get home from school. Are they there? Are they safe? Peace of mind is why parents are adding Blink indoor and outdoor security cameras to their back-to-school shopping lists. And now you could save up to 20%. Blink cameras are almost like being there when your kids get home. Just moments after they walk through the door, you get an alert on your Blink smartphone app with a video clip. Blink cameras are wire-free, run on 2 lithium batteries that last up to 2 years. Setting up your system is so easy. It takes just a few minutes. And they start at under $100 with no monthly contracts. And right now, through Labor Day, you can save up to 20% with Blink's back-to-school sale. Thanks to Blink, back-to-school security just got easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. blinkprotect.com/sale. Also available on Amazon. Blink is an Amazon company, and it works with Alexa. I was talking earlier about, let me find this story because I want to get this right. I want to make sure I give this guy all the proper credit. He's a law professor. There we go. Lawrence Douglas is the James J. Grossfeld Professor of Law, Jurisprudence, and Social Thought. I love this, Social Thought at Amherst College in Massachusetts. So he writes this piece. It's titled, "The Supreme Court's Pro-Gun Radicalism Puts Us All in the Crosshairs." Ooh, how clever. And he talks about basically how the Heller decision was so awful and terrible and wrong. And it's just unthinkable that the Supreme Court would say that there was an individual right to own a gun, when we all know that's not what the Second Amendment says, even though it says the people. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Some folks like to say, well, that means that a militia is only the militia can have the guns. This was all about arming a militia. It doesn't say that. It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And it says the reason the people have the right to keep and bear arms is so we have a militia. But it doesn't say the right is limited to a militia. It's certainly not an organized militia. And for years I've been saying the only way that you can support gun control is to lie. You have to lie about the murder stats. You have to lie about gun safety. That's what the Brady Group did on our show 2 weeks ago. You have to fudge the numbers. You have to cook the books. It goes on and on. So here's a good example of this. You know, misleading people is the same as lying. So the professor here, he says, attentive to this language, talking about all the language of the Supreme Court, He says, the Supreme Court long interpreted the Second Amendment as protecting a collective right. Yeah, this is the phony, mythical collective right idea. As protecting a collective right to participate in a militia. And then he says, listen to this carefully, because I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. In 1939, the court unanimously upheld a congressional ban on sawed-off shotguns, arguing such weapons lack, quote, any reasonable relation to the preservation or efficacy of a well-regulated militia. Okay, so he says that the Supreme Court said that weapons like sawed-off shotguns say these weapons lack any relation to a well-regulated militia. This is what the court actually said. This is the actual text, because he didn't mention it. But as soon as he said 1939, I knew he's talking about the Miller case, U.S. versus Miller. So here's what the court actually said, because it did not say that these weapons lack any reasonable relations. What it said was, quote, in the absence of any evidence tending to show that possession or use of a shotgun having a barrel of less than 18 inches in length at this time has some reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia. The difference here is this. The court did not say these guns don't have a use in a militia. What the court said was, we have not seen that. Here's why the court said that. And this is where the professor is misleading, i.e., lying. Mr. Miller was dead by the time this case came before the Supreme Court. His lawyers did not show up. No one argued his side of the case. So when they say in the absence of any evidence tending to show, what they're saying is that nobody even presented us any evidence. If somebody had, maybe we would have agreed that a sawed-off shotgun has a use in a militia. But this law professor says, see, the Supreme Court says these have absolutely no use in a militia. That's not what they said at all. Once again, making another example of the only way that they can push for gun control is to use arguments that are based on lies or just flat out lie themselves. It happens over and over again. 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, I want to tell you how to get involved in something that can change your life and do some good.
This is Milo Lardbottom, Junior Under Assistant Deputy to the Assistant Director of Deputy Affairs for the Department of Homeland Security, with a special message for listeners of Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. We know who you are. We know where you are. You're right by your radio. We have special cameras that can see into your radio. I have a special monitor built into my aluminum foil helmet. We are watching you, so don't try anything funny, Buster.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. He's talking about new rifles, new calibers, new cartridges. The 6.5 Creedmoor's been around for a number of years now. The 6.5 PRC is the newest, kind of a magnumized version of it. Why? What's this all about? What's going on here? It's actually nothing real new. We've known about ballistic coefficient for a long time. Long, pointy bullets that buck the wind, that are not blown as much as far as wind drift. The problem has always been, when you went with a long bullet, you needed a faster twist rate, and we already had established standardized twist rates for the 30-06 and the 270 and all the basic 7 mag. They all had twist rates that were not fast enough to stabilize long, pointy bullets. You had to go to a custom barrel, a faster twist rate, to spin it up faster to keep it stable. Well, what the Creedmoor does is it gives you a faster twist rate as standard. Instead of a 1 in 12 or a 1 in 10, it's actually a 1 in 8. Same with the 6.5 PRC, a 1 in 8 twist rate. Now you can stabilize long, pointy, skinny bullets. What does that do? They're magic bullets. I'm telling you, they're magic. With that higher ballistic coefficient, they don't drop as quickly. They don't drift nearly as much in the wind. And they hit hard. A 6.5 PRC has less recoil than a 30-06 and hits harder than a 30-06 when you get past about 200 yards. And past that, it keeps going. Past about 350, 400 yards, it's actually equal to, if not better than a 7 mag, and even than a 300 mag, with much, much less recoil. These are the real deal. This is not like the flavor of the month or something that's going to be a passing fad. And really almost any new cartridge that comes out is probably going to have a fast twist rate established as a standard, so it can take advantage of the VLD, the very long, was it VLD? Yes. Low, I'm now pulling a blank. Okay, here we go. Basically, you're talking about high ballistic coefficient, very low drag. VLD, thank you. VLD, very low drag bullets. Let's go to line 1. Austin's with us out of Waco, Texas. Hey, Austin.
So after 360 days of waiting, I got my Mother May I pick up my suppressor.
Yes.
And I took it to range. And, it's not magic. It really isn't magic, but it sounds nice.
What are you shooting it on? What caliber and what kind of gun?
Well, it's a 300 blackout pistol. It's a 7.5-inch barrel on a 300 blackout pistol.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, the suppressor is 9 inches long.
Right.
So I'm putting a 9-inch suppressor on a 7.5-inch barrel.
Seems backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very backwards. I mean, I'm turning this basically into a rifle.
Okay, but when you do that, are you using subsonic ammo?
I did not use subsonic. I had 123 grain, but it was very silent. The noise was not there.
It's quieter, but it's not silent. Yeah, it's quieter.
No, it's definitely not silent. It's much quieter. I can hear the bolt working on the buffer tube.
Right.
And I can hear the trigger reset. And the range officer thought I was shooting a pellet gun.
Really? Interesting. Well, you know what you got to do now, don't you? You got to go get some of the subsonic ammo, even if you just get a couple of boxes to try it, to see what happens.
No, I've got to buy a lot more suppressors.
Yes, you're right. Now, was this your first?
Yes.
It's addictive, man. Once you start, you're going, why would I not have this on all my guns?
It's a very real problem, because then you have to buy more.
Yes.
So it's an issue. The issue is you spend $700 or $800 and you have nothing to show for that for a year.
Yes, because you have to. For those who don't know, you're waiting for the paperwork to come through on getting the permission from the federal government to pick up the item that you've already paid for a year ago, because you have to get the tax stamp on it. You pay the $200 stamp. It's one of the reasons we've been trying to get this Hearing Protection Act passed, which is not going to happen now that we've lost control of the House, where you don't have to. Silencers should not be a part of the NFA, the National Firearms FA. They should not be treated the same as machine guns. They are hearing safety devices, but there you go. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you're enjoying it, but if you get a chance, seriously, get you some subsonic ammo and try that. I think you're going to be really impressed. Let me drop down to Roger on 2 out of Spokane, Washington. Hello, Roger, you're on Gun Talk.
Yes, just to follow up with your discussion about the sawed-off shotguns and the U.S. Supreme Court not saying that they necessarily did not fall within the purview of the Second Amendment. Another thing consistent with that is in terms of the gun grabbers, how can they justify attempts to outlaw so-called assault rifles, semi-auto rifles? They certainly come within the purview of the Second Amendment.
Excellent point. If on the one hand, they point to the Miller decision in 1939, which said that we're not seeing any particular use for a sawed-off shotgun by the military. But if it had been a military gun, it would fall under the Second Amendment. But now they're saying, but we want to ban guns that are actually used by the military. Well, I would say you can't have it both ways, except they can.
Further, I think full autos obviously are fall within the purview of the Second Amendment.
I would agree. So here's what's really going on. Obviously, they want to ban all the guns they can. They just say, what can we brand with a scary-sounding name now? What can we frighten the public into agreeing to a ban on? At the same time, and going back to this law professor's article, understand that they don't think there really is a Second Amendment right. It's an antiquated thing. They would like to get rid of it. They know they can't repeal it, but they can basically gut it, neuter it, make it go away. And that's one of the reasons that Trump's Supreme Court choices are frightening them and driving them crazy, probably more than anything else he does. That's really the thing that scares them. And the idea that Ruth Bader Ginsburg would somehow leave the bench and leave a hole that he's going to fill, that just fills them with fear. And when that happens, if it happens, then we're going to get some solid decisions on the Second Amendment, and it's going to be a game changer. When they come in and say, look, it is unconstitutional to have a magazine capacity limit. It's unconstitutional to ban magazines that are over 10 rounds. It's unconstitutional to ban semi-automatic. You cannot ban semi-automatic firearms, rifles, shotguns, or pistols. And that's what they're probably going to decide. At that point, all this other stuff just becomes noise.
Yeah. Oh, I agree fully. So.
Yeah, that's where we are. Look, I appreciate the call, sir. Let's see here. Oh, shoot, I got to run to a break here. Hey, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. I'm Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN.
The pistol that redefined pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP-2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP-2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP-2 at Ruger.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
Want great deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gundealio app today. With Gundealio, you can search for deals, listen to the Gun Talk podcast, watch gun videos, read gun news, and get notifications right to your phone about deals and special offers. Save money on the products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gundealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
A perfect pistol for self-protection? Smith & Wesson's M&P 2.0 Compact. Big enough to shoot easily, small enough to carry daily. Plenty of ammo to get the job done with 15 rounds of 9mm. Also available in 40 and 45 calibers. All the great M&P 2.0 enhanced features, now in a compact size for carry and home protection. Check it out at smith-wesson.com.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Shooters looking for ultimate performance and 300 blackout will be pleased with our new 110 grain tip TSX load. This round performs well through tough barriers such as car doors and windshields, making it a great choice for police patrol rifles. It also provides superior performance on whitetails and monster hogs. This round is a great all-around thermal performer. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
Let's go straight to the phones. Robert's on 3 out of Longview, Texas. Hey, Robert, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey Tom, I went to the gun store. I heard you talking about the Ruger one last week, and I'm trying to decide on what caliber. They only make certain calibers in it, but none of them have sights on them. You got to use a scope.
No, you don't. No. Only certain. There are at least 3 different models of the Ruger number 1. And the model that's called the 1A, those come with sights. So you can get those in 30-06 and, like 44 Magnum and 35 Whelen and some others. 30-06, yeah, like I said, 36, 44 Magnum, 35 Whelen. I'm looking at their website now. 450 Marlin. Those all come with sights on them. I don't know about a 308, but the 30-06 is available, and that gives you the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, we went over, Browning used to make one, and then so we went over to Winchester because they bought Browning. They had one, but I don't remember what caliber it was.
Yeah, that's the Model 78 Browning. It was basically made off of the Winchester high wall from the 1800s. But yeah, there are definitely Ruger number ones available with sights. If you go to the Ruger website or to Lipsey's website, Lipsey, Lipseys.com, they have a number of exclusives that they contract with Ruger to make for them. But I'm looking, they also have the 257 Roberts that has sights. But honestly, a 30-06 Ruger number one or a 35 Whelen would be a terrific hunting rig. And then you could either shoot it with iron sights or you could put a scope on it, either way. And by the way, they all come with rings, so they're ready to go.
All right. What, do you have Clark Gunn's number again? You gave it to me one time, and I couldn't find Princeton, Louisiana on the map.
Huh. Okay, Clark Custom Guns. Let me see if I can get that for you. It's, for those who are trying to look it up on the internet, it's clarkcustomguns.com. And let's see, internet's running slow here. Let's see if here we go. Area code 318-949-9884. I'm going to give that to you again. 318-949-9884 for Clark Custom Guns. A really good place. I appreciate the call, sir. Yeah, take a look at the number one. They definitely have some with sights. I think you would love it. Mike's in Anchorage on 5. Hey, Mike, thank you for your patience.
Hi, Tom. It's a pleasure to be on with you again.
You bet.
I am an older guy, and I have arthritis. I am studying to possibly become a gunsmith.
Uh-huh.
So down the road, I'm going to need an FFL and several other federal permits, all controlled by the ATF.
Mm-hmm.
I am considering the use of CBD oil because of this arthritis.
Yep.
But that scares me to death, and I'm not going near it until I know a little bit more if I'm going to run into some kind of hassle getting my permits because of the use of that product.
Okay, I know that on the 4473, if you're using marijuana, then that is prohibited, and you cannot buy a gun if you're doing that. I do not know where CBD oil falls in the mix, and I know several people who use CBD oil, and it has helped them tremendously with arthritis, especially rheumatoid arthritis, in ways that they just can't get help any other way. I don't know, honestly, I don't know where we are with that at the moment with CBD oil. But you are smart, and I applaud you for being aware of it and for thinking about it ahead of time. And I will try to find out more about it, and maybe on an upcoming show, we can talk a little bit more about it. I just am not up on that right now. But, Mike, smart of you to figure this out ahead of time and get a handle on it. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate that. Let's see. Mike, Mark, Drew, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you as soon as we can when we come back here. We also have room for you if you'd like to join us. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. Don't forget, we're giving away a bunch of Surefire flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, handheld flashlights. Go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. Also, we've got some of the best cool gun books, interesting things, Tiger McKee's Book of Two Guns, some other things, hats, T-shirts, everything else that looks pretty neat. If you're a gun person, a guy or a gal, I think you'll like some of the shirts and hats we have at shopguntalk.com. Again, shopguntalk.com. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk, 866-TALK-GUN. going straight to the phones. Line 1, Mike, is in Tomball, Texas. Hey, Mike.
Hey, I'm just north of Houston.
Yes,
real quick, I'm looking at the Houston Comical. It's not a chronicle, it's a comical. But there's an article in here about untraced guns. 9 kids. This one gun since 1991 has killed 9 people. Not the people, but the gun did. This clown names it Brianna. And he has a serial number. It's a 9mm, and he says a Browning. But I would like your listeners to go. His name is Azam Ahmed, Azamahmed. You got to look this up, Tom. It's unbelievable what these.
So what he's saying is that supposedly an untrackable gun has been tracked through 9 different people, right?
Exactly.
Now, wait a minute. If it's untrackable...
I couldn't even read the whole thing.
If we can't trace it, how do we know?
Let me go back. It's more than a half-a-page article.
It's, you heard me say, they cannot support gun control without lying.
That's right.
It is impossible. You cannot do it because the numbers don't support it, the logic doesn't support it, the Supreme Court decisions don't support it, the Constitution doesn't support it, the Bill of Rights doesn't support it. So you have to lie about what the Supreme Court said. You have to lie about what the Second Amendment is. You have to lie about what the Founding Fathers did. You say, well, they would have imagined what we have now. Well, does that mean the free speech doesn't apply to the Internet? That's not what we're saying. Yeah, I know, exactly. No, it is comical, but it's also disheartening because it's hard to get our message out. And that's why when you see something like that, as part of the Truth Squad, and if you're listening to this, you're part of the Gun Talk Truth Squad, you have to challenge it. You know what our motto is? A lie left unchallenged becomes the truth. So if there's a way on these websites, these newspaper websites, to offer comments, you have to challenge it. And if there's not a place, a lot of times they don't make comments available there, then you contact the editors and say, look, what are you hiding from? Are you afraid of comments? You have to open this up for comments so that we can hold your reporters responsible. Don't you want to know when your people are making a mistake? And a lot of times I'll have them say, well, this is an opinion piece. It has nothing to do with facts. I say, well, I get it. You can have an opinion. But when you state things that are factually incorrect, we get to challenge that. Now, I'm not going to say you're wrong about your opinion. I mean, I disagree with it. But when you say things that are simply incorrect, that are wrong, that are a lie, then, yeah, we get to challenge that. So all of us, every single one of us has to do this. I mentioned there's something you can do that will enhance your life and do some good. This is it. You want to be part of a really good team? It's like being on a winning team in baseball or football, and the joy that gives you year after year of being involved with people doing the same thing. Get involved with a strong Second Amendment team, and that may be a core group of people in your state. Join your state organization. Work hard. Fight for this. It will give you a reason to get up every day. You go to meetings. You go to the state legislature. You make plans. You do action plans. You basically are making an effort. You're making a change. We win when we show up. When we don't show up, we lose. It really is as simple as that. The world belongs to those who show up. And I know, I've got a job. I've got this. I don't care. I don't want to hear that anymore. I do not want to hear that anymore. If you want to do something good for the Second Amendment and you want to enhance your life and you want to feel good about yourself, now's the time. Get on board, get involved, find a group, find more than one group. Yeah, donate money, but more than that, donate your time, donate your effort. Hey, if you'd like to be involved in the after show, call me right now, 866-TALK-GUN. We're going to carry everybody over. If you're on hold right now, don't go anywhere. Join us, and also check out Gun Dealio. Gun Dealio is available for your smartphone app, and you can hear the after show there.